Namaste, everybody, and hello, happy December 2024. I had this thing the last couple of days of what did I learn in 2024? What did I learn in 2024? And I was really prompted to sit down and discuss. But I don't think it's such a thing of what did I learn in 2024, because really it's the accumulation of everything I've learned on my path to this point. Right now, we just happen to be in the human time of 2024. So, really, it's what have I learned in my life, in this walk, in this body, as Natalie, on my journey to this point of ending of 2024. So, this is not really what I've learned this year. It's the accumulation of everything that has been awakened within myself and returned to myself of that place of knowing. So, hello, welcome. It's been a minute since I made a video. I've had a lot going on in my life. It's been very busy. But I've really been ruminating in this field of consciousness, and something that's been very, I want to say, alive in the field lately is I have been saying to a lot of people repetitively that you already came here with everything inside of you. Everything's already programmed inside of you. So everything that you've ever wanted, wanted to do, wanted to be, wanted to have, all your desires, all your wishes are already programmed inside of yourself. And as of late, I was really thinking, how do I explain that better? Like, how do I explain that better? Because for the regular Joe Blow on the road, it's like, okay, well, that's fine. But then where is everything? And I thought, okay. So I have a lot of stuff in my meditation. I had all these things coming to me, and I started to write down this stuff of let's address that and let's simplify that for people. But there's several things on this journey that I do have to include because everything that I teach from doing the walk in this body of Natalie, but also in the same regard, I'm speaking from the place of a mother who buried her own child. So, a mother who has walked through the valley of death and has really done that and continue and always will do that walk of grief. Um, but also as a human being having a human experience, and then also as a teacher and an alchemist. So there's several kind of ballparks that I do cover. um Not everybody is for everybody, so I really don't care if you like this video or hate this video. I'm making this video for people that need to hear this video. And again, not everybody likes apple pie, not everybody likes a Porsche. People have their own taste, their own unique taste, and as they should. And since everybody is a reflection and a projection of ourselves, there is something to learn in every single individual that we come into contact with in this life. So, the first base I'm going to cover is for those out there right now. I know that the holidays, no matter what you celebrate, whether it's Hanukkah or Christmas or Kwanzaa, or no matter what, or maybe you don't celebrate anything, which is fine too. But I know this time can be very challenging, especially for people who have lost, even though we never really lose, but it feels like we have lost loved ones in this past year. I know it can be a very hard year. And for all the mothers and fathers out there who buried their children this year, I feel you. My heart goes out to you, and I understand you completely. So I know this can be a very, very hard time. The one thing I do want to address on that is that grief can be just, I mean, there's so many words to use grief. Grief can be absolutely brutal. Grief can be so hard. And there's a lot of times there's ways that you can't describe grief to people. You just can't describe how you're feeling, what you're going through. It's almost like it's just too much that you don't even want to. And the very, very, very challenging thing about grief is that no one can actually get you out of it. No one can. No one can get you out of it. You're the only one that can get yourself out of that. It's like everything, every single thing in life, including grief. If you are grieving right now over a loved one and you're in the deepest, darkest pit, it's going to take as long as it's going to take. And you need to know that wherever you are is okay. It's okay. You can't compare your day one to somebody else's day 200. You can't. It's simply not possible. And this goes for everything. You cannot. There's no such thing as any two individuals on earth walking in the same shoes and living the same journey. Not possible. So you are not in competition with anybody. You cannot compare. You are where you are, period. So if you're in that place of feeling and you're on the waves of the roller coaster every single day, that's okay. It's okay. Now, the only thing to assist with that on this path is that you're the only one that can do it. You are. You can do things that will help, like going to counseling, going to bereavement groups, getting yourself in a community of support, talking about it, journaling about it, going and kicking a boxing bag at a gym, whatever it is that you need to do to exert that and to channel it out. Remember, everything is better out than in, then you have to do that. But at the end of the day, there's no one coming to save you, ever. There's no one coming to save you because you already came here not needing saved. It's going to be you. It's always going to be you. When you're in the darkness, you're in the darkness. There's nothing you can do about it. But there will come a point on that journey where you will have to start making choices for yourself. You will. Do I want to lay here and do nothing and just watch my life, excuse my friends, go to shit? Do I just want to like let everything go kaput? Or do I want to be here? Do I want to just get through today? And if you think you can get through today, just get through today. Take it on an hour by hour basis. And that means making yourself get up, making yourself get dressed, maybe going on a walk, maybe pulling yourself to the gym, doing things that are going to help you get through that tunnel. And there's days where you're not going to be able to. I totally get it. But then there's days where the choice will always come down to you. And that's the hardest thing. The hardest thing is being like, no one's coming in, no one's rushing in to save me. They're not. The journey, like Joseph Campbell talks about, is the hero's journey. And you are the hero in your journey. You are the everything, by the way. You're the hero. You're the victim. You're the villain. You're the savior. You are everything. So when you do this walk of life, you're going to go through all of it. You're going to go through all of it. And you will get to a point, because most people do, of where you will start to be like, I don't want to feel like that anymore. I really want to feel better. Listen, when I was a year into my daughter's death, I got to the point where I was like, I'm so tired of the grief. Like, I'm so tired of feeling this way. And I'm so tired of triggers with other people that are not understanding what I'm going through. I mean, there was so many things going on, but you will get to the point where it will be too tiring to stay in that place. And then you have a choice, and the choice comes down to you. So the choice is, do I now start to choose the light? Do I now start to choose that I need to walk my own path? And here's the thing. If you do already have everything inside of you to change all of it and to make this journey so amazing, so wonderful, and so miraculous, then you have the choice to do that. So just know, I'm not saying you have to rush to make yourself feel better. That's not what I'm saying. If anything, I'm saying the opposite. You are where you are, and that's okay. But I'm also going to shift into somewhere that I want to kind of at least have your mind start to see the possibilities of where you can go. So if you came here with everything already inside of you, if you came here with the software to be, do, have anything, and this is separate from the grief. Well, actually, no, it's not really. It kind of does marry the grief. If you came here with everything already inside of you, and you can start to realize that your mind doesn't just exist inside this body that you're wearing. It doesn't. Your mind actually exists outside in the quantum field. I want you to think of a field around you. Like when you walk outside, everything outside is part of your mind. Your mind is connected to everything outside of you. So if that is your mind, but it starts inside, then everything outside will be a reflection and a projection of your mind, right? So everything inside of you, you will start to see outside of you. And if you want to even simplify it and get to the point of, okay, your bedroom, when you wake up and look around your bedroom is a reflection of inside of you. It's a reflection of your consciousness in that bedroom. It is a reflection of your consciousness. Now, at some point on the journey, on the walk of life, and keep in mind, again, you are where you are. But I'm going to tell you, there will come a day where you're going to have to start to accept my outer world is a reflection of me. It's a reflection of my inner world. And this outer world could only exist because what I've been doing with my consciousness. That means what I've been doing with my mind. So your mind is the most powerful thing you have. It is so powerful that the field outside of you, the outer world, that field, the infinite sea of possibilities, the quantum field literally does not know if something is real or if it's your imagination. It does not know. It will only respond to what is placed in that field. So if you really think about it, if there's something that you're like, I want that, that's something I want. The only reason why you don't have it is because the quantum field is responding to you stating that you don't have it because you're in a place of want. The minute you say want, you're telling the infinite field that you don't have. So then it's responding as that. Now, I want you to think of it like a catalog. If you get a catalog and you say, okay, I want this, this, and this, and the order is placed, the minute the order is placed, you move into a state of knowing that it's done, right? Because you place the order. Think about like Amazon. You get on Amazon, you place an order, and you're like, it's done. So now it's gestation. Now you know it's on its way, right? Seed is planted. It has to grow. It's on its way. You instantly move yourself out of a place, a state of being, a state of consciousness, of wanting, and into a state of knowing that it's on its way. And you know, without any doubt in your mind that it's coming, right? Because you placed an order and it's coming. It's the same thing in the field of consciousness. It's the exact same thing. You only need to ask once, and it is done. But the issue is when a lot of people ask, they don't move into that state of knowing that it's done. It's fulfilled. It's realized. It's here. They stay in that place of still asking, of still saying, well, I want. And the minute you do that, you have to assume the next state of being. You have to. Otherwise, it is not coming. It is not. You have to move yourself into a state of consciousness of absolute knowing that the order is already fulfilled. That's the only way that it's going to be there. The only way. You have to move yourself into a state of consciousness of having the actual thing fulfilled. Otherwise, it's not coming. It's really, really, really simple. So here's the thing. Time does not exist. There's no such thing as time. There's no such thing as time. And you're like, well, I put it out there and it's going to happen in divine timing. Absolutely. There is such a thing as divine timing. You can't impregnate a woman and expect the baby to be here in a month. There is gestation, but there is that knowing that that child is coming out no matter what. And I hate to say it, whether that child is going to stay alive or whether that child is going to die in utero, it's still coming out, right? It's still going to happen. So moving yourself, I mean, listen, I know some people are like, yes, I'm in the bereaved mothers group. So this is, and we talk like this all the time. Like that child is going to come out no matter what. Of course, the goal is and the intention is that the baby stays alive always. I mean, everything's always alive, but always stays alive. But there is a knowing, right? That the implantation is done. The seeding is done. The seeding is done. And you know that that is happening. So I really want you to think of this as states of consciousness, states of being. There's no such thing as time. There's no such thing as time. Time is only a state of being that you've not yet stepped into. It's only a state of consciousness that you've not yet assumed the role of. It's only a state of consciousness that you've not actually realized within yourself. So what does it mean when I say assuming the position? You assume the position, right? You assume the position of that is done. It's the same when you place an order with Amazon. So you place the order and you're like, okay, it's done. You're assuming the position of it is done and it's on its way. How about taking that into every single area of your life? It's on its way. I'm going to assume the position of it is on its way. That means that everything you've ever wanted, needed, desired perfect health, um, love, anything outside of yourself that you have been told is outside of yourself, anything that you've come here wanting is already inside of you. It's just a state of being. It is a state of consciousness. In order to change your outer world, it has to start with you. It's your inner world. It has to start inside. That is why the power of your mind, the power of imagination, the power of visualization is more powerful than you could possibly imagine. So when you sit down, do you take time every day? Do you take 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes every day of sitting down and saying, I'm going to go there in my mind first? Because I tell you something, you did when you were a kid. You did when you were a child. There's not one person watching this right now who did not, when they were a child, have these imagination things that took place and did not actually move their consciousness there. It's the same thing. Are you taking time to assume the state of consciousness where everything you desire is already realized? Are you? Well, then why are you asking if you're not? This is where the fun comes into play. So when you sit in that state and you allow your imagination, you allow yourself to visualize that and you move your consciousness there, then the thing after that, the key is to then continue to keep your state of being aligned there. The thing that a lot of people do wrong is that it's as if they're going there for a visitation. They're going to that place within themselves for a visitation, and then they're stepping back again. That's not what the whole thing is. Assuming the position first, is knowing first. Place the order and trust and know it's on its way, and don't doubt it for a second. And then assume that state of being. Assume that you have it. That's why. So I had a mentor, a great teacher, Milton Kitsalis, for many, many years, a long time ago, who was my teacher at the BHP. Wonderful, wonderful guy. And I didn't really get at the time. I mean, this is going back like 23 years ago. I didn't get at the time why he would always be like, you want that Porsche? Go test drive the Porsche. Put yourself in the Porsche and drive it around. You want that house? Go and look at open houses at the weekend. Go move around those houses. Now I fully get what he was talking about. He was trying to wake us up to the fact that it's already alive in our consciousness. And if our mind is not just inside this body, if our mind is everything, that means that everything already exists in the quantum field. It already exists in the sea of possibilities. It already exists outside of ourselves. But have you claimed it for yourself? Have you moved yourself into that state of being where it exists? And it exists for you. Because here's what happens, and this is the juicy part, is that the minute you do that, the outer world begins to change. It has to. It is law. It begins to change. Because again, that field outside of you does not know the difference between what you're saying is real and your imagination of choosing it to be real. It does not. It's just going to respond to what your energy is, what your state of consciousness is. So assume the position. Assume the position. Put yourself in that place of saying, I've already won the race. I already won the race. And what would it feel like? How does it feel like to win the race? And come from that place of seeing it and knowing it. And the minute you know it, it is done. It has to be. That's how the quantum field works. Now, a lot of people going through breakups, divorces, losing loved ones, and all of that. Then you say, okay, well, that's great. Well, that's kind of like the power of positive thinking. It's not, though. It's not. I can think positive all day long. It doesn't mean things are going to change outside. What is the state of being that I am living in? What am I choosing to live in? Your mind can change anything. It can do anything. Are you responding to only that which is outside of yourself? Or are you starting from the place inside of you? You've all heard when they say you have to embody this, embody this. What does that mean? Embody. It means in body, inside the body. When it starts to happen inside the body, when you choose, because everything is choice, the minute you choose and you say, I will embody this, and I will just decide that this is how it is, and I will move from that place, your outer world has to change. It has to. It's literally quantum physics. It has to. But are you embodying it and wearing it like a costume just for the night? Or are you embodying it and moving from that place now? Because the more you do, the more real it will become. If you go out and you're like, I want a Porsche, and you go test drive the Porsche and you get the feeling of it. And then the next day you get in your car and say you're in like Honda Civic, which is fine. Hondas are great cars. You're in a Honda Civic. All you have to do is close your eyes and get that feeling again of being in the Porsche. And when you do that every single day, the Porsche is becoming more real and more real and more real. And eventually you will be sitting in that Porsche because the order was placed with the universe. But you got to put yourself in that state of knowing that it's done and expecting it now to arrive. Expectation. Expectation is such a beautiful thing. But can it get you in trouble? Of course. Why? Because when it comes to human beings, you expect people to do and act and be the same as you would. And that's never going to happen. Never going to happen. The only thing that you can do in this life for anybody is work on yourself, period. Can't change anybody. But you can change yourself. You can change the consciousness and how you receive someone else. You can change yourself and work on your own consciousness, and thus your outer world will change, including everybody in it. So say you got someone in your life that, they're not really treating you with the respect that you want. They're not really showing up to the relationship or the friendship the way that you would comport yourself or the way that you show up. They're not really supportive. They're just not really what you want in your garden anymore. You need to work on yourself. You need to change your consciousness, because you know what happens? The universe will do the rest. The universe will do the rest. Literally, they will take that person out of your life, and they may fend to stay. And then it's your choice if you want them to stay. Do you want them in your garden? Are they spoiling your garden? When you look at them, does it feel good to have that in your garden? Are they bringing something that you're like, yes, I want that in my field. I want that there. Or are they connected to the old state of being you? Are they connected to the old you? And because they're still there, they're kind of helping hold you in that position, in that state of consciousness. Listen, the minute you start to work on yourself and the minute you start to expand your consciousness, people are not going to like you. They're not going to like you. They're going to be like, oh, he's gotten weird or she's gotten weird. And oh, yeah, she talks about consciousness and da. Because they're triggered. You're triggering things in them that they are not ready to move into. Do you want to keep that around? You want to keep that in your garden? Like, why? Why would you want to keep someone in your garden that does not fight for you in rooms that you are not in? Why? No, you want people in your club, in your tribe, in your garden, in your auric field that will go to bat for you because they know your greatness. They know how amazing you are. They know your light. They know your loyalty, and they do the same. They do the same. 2025 in numerology is the year of the master. So if we're moving into the year of the master, you need to really start thinking about the masterful state of consciousness that you're choosing to live in, but also who you want to let into your kingdom. You don't want to let people in your kingdom that have the possibilities of doing damage, of destructive. And I'm telling you, there are destructive people out there. They are. Again, you can't change them. There's nothing you can do. I literally just posted this quote the other day, and Mark Twain said it, not me. I would not call people idiots, but Mark Twain said, no amount of evidence will ever convince an idiot. And he's right. It doesn't matter how much evidence you present. If someone is in a certain state of being, they're never going to change. Give it up. You can plant the seeds, but then you got to walk away and just do you. This comes into no blame. No one is responsible for the way you feel. I'm sorry. I know it's hard. It's hard. Listen, when Isabella died, I went through the anger. I was so angry. I was angry at God. I was angry at everybody. And then I was angry at like anybody that got pregnant. I wasn't angry at them. I was just angry that someone so close to me or right around me would be pregnant. And to me, it was like a sick joke that God was playing. I was like, why would you do this? Why would you do this? And then I really, really got it. I was like, Natalie, because you've been putting that energy out there. You've been putting that out there. So this is why it's presenting itself right in front of you. And unless you get that, then you're never going to learn. You're never going to learn that you have choice. I can look at that. And I did. I tried to. Because I'm a good intentioned individual in life and I've always naturally been more positive than negative, I would look at pregnant women and I'd be like, be happy for them. It's a blessing. Like, be happy for them. And then someone super close to me got pregnant and it was hard. It was so hard. And all I did was talk to God. I would talk to my guides and I'd be like, please just give me compassion, give me kindness, give me patience, give me everything you can. But the hurt and it cut and the grief. And I kept asking and kept asking. And I kept moving and kept moving. And I kept putting one foot in front of the other. And I kept doing everything I could and everything I could. And there was days where I would cry and fall apart. And there was days where I'd be better. And eventually one day I woke up and I was like, I don't feel as bad today. I don't feel as hurt today. I don't feel as dark today. Like I'm still in that place of, and the fires of hell where everything's so hard. I feel a little bit lighter. I feel a little bit lighter. And I was like, okay, I like this light feeling. I like this light feeling. And I do remember having the conscious thought of a lot of people choose to hold on to grief because of what grief can offer. And grief can offer victimhood. It can offer people feeling bad for you. But through my grief, I found that more than anything, it showed me people. It showed me people's hearts. And it showed me people that didn't really have big hearts. Like it showed me both. It showed the people that stepped up into that pain with me, but coming from that place of heart. And then also showed me people that were selfish. It showed me narcissists. It like came with so much. It came with so much. But I didn't want to stay in the victimhood. To me, it didn't feel right. I was like, I don't want to feel like this. I want to choose my life. I want to choose my states of being. I want to choose the light. I choose life. I choose life. And when I got to that place, I also recognized it was always me. It was always me. It's only me. It was Natalie. It's you. You're the only one that can change anything. You get to choose. And if there are people not supporting, because I will tell you something, there are people that will want to keep you down. Oh, there are people that will want to come in and they will want to keep you down because they feel better about themselves when you're in grief, when you are down, they feel better about themselves. And I had those too. I had those people that just wanted to keep you there until I realized, wait, this is serving them. It's not serving me. It's not serving me. I'm actually reaching towards a light and I'm doing better every day. And then there's times I'll be around this individual and then I drop. And I don't like it. I don't like it. And so every day it's that stepping into the lights, being on the treadmill and it's just running and running and running and running. And then you do get to the point, and it's been 7 years since my daughter passed. You do get to the point where you're like, doesn't mean every day is breezy, easy breezy. Christmas, her birthday, her death day, a lot of it is it's emotional and things come up. And, I very much have moments of, what would she be like now? What would her likes be like? What would her hobbies be? And I daydream into it. Like, what would she look like? Like, what would we be doing today? Like, all of that is always going to exist because she exists, never ceased to exist. And for you, I'm sure you have family members and you have people in your life that they might be alive, but you might have nothing to do with them. You might not talk to them. They still exist. They didn't go anywhere. They still exist. Just because you don't see them, they still exist. And with that, it taught me compassion. It taught me empathy. It taught me having a depth of space that I could hold people in and not judge them and not think, oh, why are they not over this yet? But to just hold space for them and just know I've been there. I know that pain and it will get easier, but they don't need to know that right now. I just have to hold that space for them and be that love for them because there were others in my life that were that for me. But there was also ones that were not. There was ones I barely heard from. Are they in my garden anymore? No, because they don't support what I'm building. They don't support the life that I'm choosing and the life that I want. I know. I said that deliberately. Did you hear that? And what did you get from that? Well, she said want, which means she doesn't have yet. Exactly. We are all on this journey, all of us. And there are things that I look around in my life. If I died tonight, would I be happy? Absolutely. Would I be content? Yes. Yes. I've really, I've embodied this being, this woman going by the name of Natalie. I've embodied her as much as I can to this point. Do I want to transition just now? No, I'm very much choosing to stick around because there's a lot of things that I'm still creating and states of consciousness that I'm still stepping into. But I get it now. I really get it now. I get it. I understand the journey of life. I understand why I took this, why I took this girl, why I took this name, why I took my beautiful family in Scotland, why I took all of it. I get it now. I really do. And if I transition tonight, everybody would be okay. They would, and I know that. Everybody would be okay. Because we're always going to be okay. You are always going to be okay because you are eternal, because you are a divine being of light, and you exist forever, and we all exist forever. And everything you choose already exists. There is no time. The past is just a state of consciousness that you have moved away from. That is all the past is. And the future is merely a state of consciousness that you have not yet assumed. You have not yet embodied. That's all it is. It is states of being, it is states of consciousness. And that is the entire purpose of this journey in this body on this earth plane. So when I said at the beginning that you have everything inside of you, that you came here already programmed, you did. You came here with all of that beautiful software inside of yourself. And the outer world, and listen, it's not your fault. I'm just letting you know. Don't think, well, I created all this terrible stuff. That's a yes and no. Of course, because you're the one wearing the body, but also we've been living in a matrix for a long time. We've been living in a world that as children, we get told, go to school, do this, it's orders, bell rings, march, very prison-like, which I've talked about before. But you get told certain things at such a young age, at an age where your mind should be, imagining and understanding, like meditation. And we get told certain things and we think that's the way it is. My goodness, in school, you get taught, well, you have to leave school and then you have to get a good job. And then you work for someone else. I mean, I remember my guidance counselor when I sat down in high school and I told her what I'm wanting to do. She looked at me and her eyes were like flying saucers. And she was like, you can't do that. You have to go get a job. She could not understand all the dreams I had and everything I told her I was going to do. And I was going to move to America and I'm going to do this and that. She literally was like, no, like her mind couldn't even understand that state of consciousness. That's how limited she was. She's like, no, you leave school, you either go to college or university, because it's very different in Scotland, or you get a job, or you do that and then you get a job, and that's it. That's it. Like, no big dreams, like none of this. I mean, and I actually remember walking out and I was like, well, that's the last time I've ever seen that woman. Last time. Because somewhere in my young, very young 17-year-old body, I understood. I understood what they were talking about. I understood what source was. I understood consciousness. I got it and I was young, but I knew no matter what you dream, it can happen. It can be. But I didn't understand at the time that you had to assume the position of, you have to move yourself into that place where it's already done. And I'm coming into this place of expecting. Now I expect it. Now I expect it. I had someone say to me years ago, well, that's kind of arrogant, isn't it? Isn't that kind of arrogant? And I wrote, what a beautiful word, arrogant. Not in a way of negative, but in a way of positive. If arrogant, and by the way, if you look it up, you'd be surprised on what it says. They've added things to it since then. But arrogant is to claim for oneself, to claim for oneself. So if you're on this journey and you're in this body, isn't that a beautiful thing to claim for oneself? So what do you claim for yourself? What in this end of 2024 are you claiming for yourself? Moving in to the year of the master, what are you claiming? Are you claiming perfect health? Are you claiming abundance? Are you claiming happiness? Are you claiming freedom? Freedom of any shackles from anything that's held you down before? Are you? And if something has held you down in the past, remember, the past is a state of consciousness that you're leaving. What was it? Was it financial hardships? Was it not doing the job that you've been wanting to do? What was it? Because I think it's pretty positive to claim for yourself that which you are now assuming the reality of. You are now stepping in, you're actualizing that which you've already been putting in the quantum field. You asked once, it is gestated, and now it's right here. So if everything is right here and it's inside of you, what is it? What is it that you are stepping into? What is it that you have not now claimed for yourself? Time to claim it. Time to claim it, because if not, it's floating around out there in the sea. And more than likely, other people are already stepping into that place and they're claiming it for themselves. This is a long video, kids, because we got a lot to discuss. I really want you to think on that. If everything already exists, the future is not a time, it already exists. It's just a state of being, a state of consciousness. And it doesn't matter why you haven't stepped into it. Don't go deep into the why. Well, I got to figure out the why. Throw the why away. The why is in the past. You've moved on from that state of consciousness. Now you get to choose. Everything you've ever wanted is right here. It's inside of you. And your outer world will be a reflection of your inner world. It always is. It always is. What have you been putting out there? What is it you've been asking the universe for? You ask once, but you don't ask with pleading, and you don't ask coming from the energy of not having. You have to ask as in prayer, as in meditation. You have to ask from the place of thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. And so it is. I wrote this down. When you assume the feeling of the state of consciousness of the manifestation already fulfilled, it has to be. I'll read that again. This came through meditation today. When you assume the feeling of the state of consciousness of the manifestation already fulfilled, it has to be. How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? This was a whole thing that pulled me from that grief. I didn't want to feel like that anymore. And I knew the more I felt like that, my world was going to continue outside to give me that. I did not want to feel like that anymore. I was like, no, what is the feeling? So right now, I really want you, imagine, think on what it is that you're like, I want this. I've been putting this out. I want this. And this can be anything. It can be physical desires. It can be health. It can be anything. What is it? Okay, great. You've got it. What is the feeling associated with it? What is the feeling? How does it feel? Now you've done it. Now you've done it. You keep doing that, and you keep not visiting it, but you keep going from that place. It has to be. It is law. It is the laws of the universe, my friends. The laws of the universe. Has to be. It has to be. The universe, I wrote this down too, only responds to energy. I've said this before. It only responds to energy. And if emotion is energy in motion, emotion, the emotion of the feeling is connected, it's all energy. Energy in motion, emotion. The energy you're putting out there into the quantum field, into the world outside of yourself, is literally creating your reality. It starts inside. You've always had it. You have the software within you. You can change anything, anything. It's already programmed. You are one. Your mind is one. You are connected to the universal mind of all, and everything is floating around outside of you. And all you have to do is move yourself into the feeling place, into the visuals, into the knowing, into the deciding, into the placing the order. It is paid for, it is done. And by the way, money is just energy. It's just energy. It's an energy exchange. So the minute you flow it out, it has to come back. It is law. It's a law of cause and effect. So in this time of ending this 2024, I don't look at this of what I've learned this year, because it's not this year. I look at the culmination of everything I've learned over my life as Natalie to this point. And I understand the journey of life. I do. I do. And it doesn't mean I'm any further than you. It does not. It just means I am where I am and you are where you are. And you could be years further than me. And that's great. But you are you and I am me. I'm not trying to be or do or have anybody else. I am me. And I'm honored and happy to wear this physical body, to walk my journey. I'm grateful for all of the lessons, all of it, because it has molded me and sculpted me into who I now choose to be. And if there's any flowers that have turned to weeds in your garden at this time, go outside and take a look. Do you want to remove them now? You want to get rid of them? Do it. Do that. Or you can ignore them and they will die and they will fall and that will be it. But then you get to plant new seeds. You get to plant new ones. Be specific on what you're asking the universe for. Be specific on what you're stepping into. Be specific on the states of being you're choosing. Because you cannot grow a different fruit on the tree of the same seed you're planting. You have to choose now. You got to choose. You can't plant seeds and have been planting an apple tree for 20 years and now expect something different to grow off it. It's not going to happen. You got to change the seed. What is it you're seeding? What is it you're planting? Because that's now what you're getting back. You got to shift the consciousness to something different, a different state of being. You've got this. Thank you for hanging with me today. It is always a blessing for me to sit down with you and make these videos. I don't do them so often. It's only really when I'm nudged from my guides, but it's also when I feel like I have something that I can contribute to the field that may inspire or help someone else. Because when I tell you that you've got everything I need, you need everything I need, everything you need. And when I tell you that you're already there, that you are this beautiful being of light, that you came here so perfect, so profound, so amazing. Stop the self-chatter, stop the self-doubt. The naysayers, get away from the naysayers. All they will do is soil you and destroy your garden. Get away from them. Get away from them. Don't be around negative people. Don't be around people that want to talk down about other people. Get away from it. Stay in the light. Seed, plant your garden with unique specifics and choose the state of being that you now want to be, because you already have every single thing inside of you. You are made with greatness. You are greatness. Stand up in that greatness and know that you know. I am that I am. You are that you are. Know that anything follows I am is a recording sent into the universe and shall be delivered back to you. Have a beautiful day. I love you. I love you with all my heart, because love is what I receive from the sea of possibilities. Namaste.